Hello, I'm Regional Forester Rick Cables. I've got a safety message today I just want to share with our folks. And it has to do with the changed conditions we have in our forest, particularly the bark beetle area. We've got, as many of you know, or most all of you know, nearly 2 million acres of dead lodgepole pine, dead or dying lodgepole pine, and that has changed the work environment in the woods in our region. I want all of you to know that when you're out in the woods doing projects, and we're going to have a lot of project work in this area, roadside clearing, campground clearing, protecting communities and watersheds, that safety is still and continues to be our #1 priority. Please, when you go to the woods to do project work, pay attention to the environment you're in, look for the situations that create unsafe conditions or hazards. The primary thing to remember is that no project, target, or objective is worth someone getting hurt. We want everyone to come home safely, to us and to your family at home. That's the primary objective every single day you go out. So please be safe and have fun, but be safe and watch out for these new hazards that have been created by the dead forest. Thank you.
Before we start working in the morning, we take a look at the weather and see what the wind conditions are going to be like where we're planning on working. And if it's going to be a really windy day and we were planning on working someplace where there are hazard trees, where there's trees that have been killed by beetle, we'll just choose to work someplace else. We have a lot of different projects going on, so we can always choose to work on the grassland or work in a more open area like this where there's not a risk of hazard trees. So we take that into consideration, we look at the weather, and obviously we always bring our personal protective equipment. Hard hats, we always carry our radios with us so that we do have contact in case we were to need assistance. So we have a job hazard analysis that identifies all the dangers that we might come across in doing our job as archaeologists. One of those things is hazard trees. So the job hazard analysis identifies what aspects of beetle kill trees would be dangerous for the crew, and ways of mitigating the dangers of that, what kind of PPE they need to carry, what kind of awareness they need to have. And what we do is we try to do about once a week do a tailgate safety session before we start our work. And probably a couple times a season we do the hazard tree JHA as part of our tailgate safety session, just so everybody can go over it and be reminded of the things they need to be paying attention to.
Well, there are a number of things that will increase the likelihood of a tree or the probability of the tree failing or falling down, if you will. It could be damage to the tree. It could be an increased lean to the tree. The root structure of that particular tree may be insufficient to hold that tree during high winds or during heavy snow loads. And so you got to take into consideration, again, the weather, whether it's high winds, high snow loads, the lean of the tree, any structural damage to the tree, whether it's beetle kill or lightning strike or fire damage to a particular tree.
Generally, we're looking for a safe parking area and respective to the trees that are in the area. So, you know, if there's any leaners, we're looking for that. If there's trees that have obvious damage, root exposures or things like that, you know, bark beetle, if it's been in that area, you know, they're prone to, you know, damage the tree and cause it and make it susceptible to falling over. So generally we're looking at the leans of the trees at that point, where they're leaning, if they're leaning towards the parking lot and the trucks in the area that we might be standing or working around while we're getting ready for the project. Generally, it's kind of the approach, the overall condition of the stand of trees that we might be working in. You know, are they infested with a bark beetle? Is there wind thrown? Are trees broken out? Are the tops broken out of the trees? So, you know, would we have those hazards immediately? And then maybe look specifically at the species of tree we're working in that area, if it's the lodgepole pine or, you know, grand fir or Doug fir or the ponderosa pine, and those have their own individual characteristics as far as the way they would respond to the bugs and things that in that area. So specifically with the mountain pine beetle, it would be noting how much and how damaged it is. If there's a lot of red needle tree, obvious damage, and they've already died off, or is there the green needled ones that we need to be kind of aware of and around that we haven't noticed right away that are harder to find.
So a special hazard we want to pay attention to is wind throw in the unit. Once you guys get the the red dead trees down. The green trees are going to have the potential to blow over. As years have gone by, majority of these trees have sheltered each other, and once they're opened up, of course, the green trees are susceptible to that wind throw. Also, I want to pay special attention to branches that have broken off from the red trees, the dead trees, caught up inside in the green trees themselves. So you want to take special note of that. If we can't get any of these green trees down, we may have to just flag them off and identify the hazard for the future.
Pretty much anytime we're in the woods, we wear hard hats, long sleeves, eye protection for around chainsaw, hearing protections around chainsaw, gloves when we're working around the chainsaw, leather boots, 8 inches, and long pants, long sleeves, chaps. Yeah, we generally have a tailgate safety session or a safety meeting before we begin our operations. We discuss the common hazards that we maybe have already highlighted here with the group and make sure they're aware of things, and some other environmental conditions may come up. It might be, you know, chance of rain that day, so footing, or had rain the night before, and so footing becomes an issue. So we generally try and hit anything that's unique to that specific site outside of just a bark beetle, you know, and really emphasize the concerns we might have for our employees.
Let's review. Remember, check the weather before you leave. Plan ahead and have some contingency plans if wind will be a problem on your job site. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment like a hard hat. Establish effective radio communication. Once you're on site, park your vehicle or set up a camp in a hazard tree-free area. Evaluate if trees pose dangers to workers. Make sure to identify failure zones, areas that may be reached by any part of a failed tree. Include hazard tree awareness in your job hazard analysis and tailgate session. Bring an axe, bow saw, or chainsaw in case you become trapped. Identify escape routes and safety zones.
Outside of your general 212 training and chainsaw operations, you could refer to the Forest Service Health and Safety Code Handbook.